Hi everyone! Today we are continuing our New Year's series with another really fabulous sequence. I am so excited to share this one with you. It is an invigorating routine that is going to get you sweating, it's going to work your core, you are going to feel wonderful after. Now, if you haven't seen the other sequences that I've been doing this month, be sure to subscribe, check out the description box below because I think you will really enjoy them. And let's get started. Are you ready to sweat? I am. Before we start to sweat today, we are going to do some warm-ups. So we are going to move through our whole body, warming up our joints, starting with our wrists. So you can just start to do some simple wrist movements, moving them in circles. You can do both at the same time. And always make sure to go in both directions. And from our wrists, we're going to move to our elbows and our shoulders. So you can actually lift your elbows up. They might look a little bit like wings. That's okay. You can do one elbow and shoulder, and then the other, moving in both directions, really warming up those shoulders. In yoga, shoulder injuries are very common, so we want to make sure that we really protect them, warm them up, don't do anything that is going to shock them at all. We can also warm up our elbows a little bit more. It's, a classic kind of hangman position here. Don't worry, nobody cares what you look like. Moving them in one direction, and then the other. From here, we're going to move to our shoulders and our head again. So just some simple shoulder rolls, making sure you're breathing the entire time. You can engage your Ujjayi breath through this entire sequence. If you've never used that breath before, be sure to check out last week's video. The link is in the description box below. I lead you through an entire description of how to use that breath throughout your practice. From here, we're going to move up from our shoulders to our head. So gently, just moving your head side to side, really letting it hang heavy as you come through the center. Breathing deeply. And then we're going to extend that movement to go all the way. So move it all the way back. Roll your ear to your shoulder, chin to your chest, ear to opposite shoulder, and around. Really accentuating that movement. You might feel some stiffness here if you're used to being hunched over at a desk, or if you spend a lot of time looking at a computer during the day. Your neck can often get really sore, so this is a nice time to give yourself a little bit of love. Make sure you find the spots that are feeling tight and just work them out. Now we've done most of our upper body. We're going to bring our feet in slightly. We're just going to do some gentle ankle rolls. So you can come up onto your toes. And first we're going to roll our ankles with our toes planted on the ground. And then lift those toes off the ground and really get your full foot into the movement. Moving one way and then the other. From here, let's lift our knee up. And we're just going to try to move that knee in its full range of motion, really loosening up the hip joint. So knee comes up, out, and down. And then we'll switch directions here. One more time. And bring that foot down and let's switch to the other side. So starting with foot, or toes rather, planted. And rotating through your ankle. Both directions. And then lifting those toes up and bringing the whole foot into that range of motion. Going both directions. Don't be worried if you hear some cracking here. It just means you're loosening up the joints, increasing circulation. Then bring knee up. You can use your hand to help guide it here. We're going to start to move that knee and hip through its full range of motion. Bring it up, over, and down. And then we can switch directions. And again, if there's any of these warm-ups that you want to spend more time on, you should. Anything that feels really great in yoga, you can continue to do that. Anything that is causing you pain, you want to steer away from. If you're feeling just a little bit of discomfort or resistance, maybe that's where you really need to concentrate on, spend some extra time there. We're going to bring that foot down. We're going to just shake out our whole body a little bit here. And we're going to start to flow, so let's get ready to sweat. We're going to bring our toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale up over our head. interlace your fingertips, pointer fingers released, thumbs are crossed. We're gonna bring our arms back to our ears, drop shoulders down away from your ears, make sure elbows are straight. Inhale, reach up, tuck that tailbone, and come over to one side. And it's almost like you're sliding between two panes of glass. So right now we're over on the left-hand side. We wanna scoop that left shoulder under and bring our right hip slightly forward, and then push through your hip, come down a little bit deeper, reach through your fingertips, open your chest to the sky, and then inhale, come all the way back up. Take one breath to reset here. Shoulders back with your ears, tuck that tailbone in, and then exhale, push through the hips, coming over. We're gonna scoop our right armpit under. We're gonna bring left hip slightly forward, open up through the chest, make sure your hands are tightly together, and push through your hip. And then on the exhale, release your arms all the way down. Step into a wide stance with your feet pointing out towards the edges of your mat. From here, bring hands to your hips, and we're gonna sink down into a deep squat. The goal here is to have knees directly above your ankles. So if you need to adjust your stance, bring your feet a little bit wider or a little bit closer in, make sure to do that. We're gonna bring our hands onto our knees and start to lean forward and twist. We're gonna bring one shoulder in first and look over the other. Come back to center and twist the other way. Back to center. Make sure to drop that shoulder all the way down, twisting. Back to center. You might start to feel this in your thighs. It's a good thing. Let's wake them up. Come back to the middle. We're gonna stand all the way up. We're gonna shift our right foot so it's on about a 45-degree angle, pointing towards the front of our mat. Left foot pointing all the way forward. And the goal is to have your front foot intersecting the arch of your back foot. From here, we're gonna come into a deep bend in our front knee. Knee is directly over ankle. We're gonna lift arms up. Arms are in line with shoulders. Upper body is in line with your hips. So if you're way over one way or way over back, you're gonna come back in line here and settle into warrior two. Make sure your knee is tracking towards your baby toe. So take a look down. Make sure you can see that big toe. Inhale. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, sink down. On your next inhale, let's reach forward. And then exhale, slide your back arm down your leg. Open up through your front body, through your chest. And then come back into warrior two. We're gonna straighten that front leg. You can scoot your back leg in just slightly. We're gonna cock that back hip out, almost like, you're a teenager giving a lot of attitude. We're gonna reach our arms all the way out. We're gonna reach forward through our front fingertips. And then when you've reached as far as you possibly can, right here, we're just gonna open our arms up. So don't worry if your hand doesn't come all the way down to your foot. Just let it land wherever it lands, opening up into triangle. Creating a line from your top fingertips all the way through to your bottom fingertips, and trying to create a nice long line from your hips to your shoulder. So if you're feeling really arched here, stand up a little bit more. Breathing deeply, looking up towards your top fingertips. Lifting back up into warrior two, bend through that front knee. We're gonna spiral arms all the way down to opposite sides of our left foot. Step that left foot back. We're gonna come into a low plank. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal those feet out. We're gonna step both feet back up to the front. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And we're gonna open right back up into our deep squat. So bending knees deeply, toes are pointing out towards the outsides of our mat. This time we're gonna lift up and then pull down. Lift up, straightening your legs, and pull down. Really try to find some resistance here. Lift up, show the muscles, pull down. Lift up, pull down. One more time. Lift all the way up. Hands back onto knees. We're going to move into our warrior sequence on the other side. So left foot coming at a 45-degree angle. Right foot is pointing forward. Bend through your front knee. Make sure that your knee is stacked directly over your ankle. Back leg is straight and strong. Body is centered. Inhale. And try to make sure your arms are coming in line with your shoulders, but you're not bringing your shoulders up around your ears. So roll them down. Take a look at your back hand. If you're finding it's falling, bring it back up. Separate your fingers. You can engage every part of your body here. On your next inhale, reach all the way forward. Exhale, open up. Lift your top hand, drop your back hand. Make sure that you're maintaining a deep bend in your front knee. Spiraling your chest open towards the sky. One more breath. And then coming back into warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. Scoot your back foot in just slightly. Again, we're going to really pop that hip out. Reach as far forward as you possibly can. And then once you can't reach anymore, open your arms up. Concentrating on keeping your chest broad. If you feel like you're collapsing, you may need to stand up a little bit higher. Open up through the chest. Create a long line from top fingertips all the way down to your bottom fingertips. Breathe deeply here, finding length in both sides of your torso. One more deep breath, inhale. Exhale fully. Coming back into warrior two. And then spiraling hands down to the mat, stepping back into a high plank. Let's hold it here for a breath. Inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal your dog out. Then step both feet up to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Make sure to bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into a high plank. We're going to exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's lift through our right leg here, keeping our knee bent. Heel is intending towards our hips. Make sure that you're keeping your shoulders squared here so that you're not twisting through your spine. We're really trying to twist and open through our hips here. Inhale, exhale. And then if you're feeling adventurous, we're going to flip all the way over, flip our dog, and open all the way up. Right fingertips reach out. You're up on the tippy toes of your right foot, and left leg is extending straight. You can let your head drop back. Trying to open through the chest, lift the hips as high as you can here. One more breath. And then flipping all the way back over into our downward dog. Walk the feet out a little bit. Come forward into high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Take one deep breath here just to reset. Inhale. Exhale through the open mouth. Inhale, left leg comes up. Knee is bent. Heel is intending towards your hips. Keeping our shoulders squared, knee is high. Foot is coming towards your hip. And then if you're feeling adventurous, let's flip all the way over. Lift up through your hips. Reach through your left fingertips, coming right into wild thing. Engage your Ujjayi breath. And then flipping all the way back over into downward dog. Shifting forward to high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. And from here, we're going to bring our right hand just under our face, so it's coming into the center of our body. We're going to shift forward into a plank. Make sure that that hand is rooted down. We're going to start to shift over onto the sides of our feet. Lift our left arm open into side plank. So here we really want to lift through the hips, push through the hand, open up. Now if this is feeling too much for you, you can drop that top foot for a little bit of extra support. Or you can bring it back. One more breath. And then drop down. We're going to come back into downward dog for one breath here. And then left hand comes into the center, shifting onto the sides of our feet and opening all the way up into our side plank, extending through our top fingertips, really pushing down through that bottom hand, creating space in our back, creating space in our side body. Once again, option to use that top foot as a kickstand here. Or bringing it back to balance. One more deep breath. Lift those hips a little higher. And then dropping back down into our high plank, shifting into low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to drop down onto our knees, come into a gentle child's pose for 3 breaths, letting our shoulders collapse over our body, resting your head. And then rolling slowly all the way back up to a seated position. We're going to scoot our feet out from underneath our hips, come to sitting on our bum, feet on the ground, knees bent in front of us. We're going to start our core workout, and there's no better time than now. So leaning back, we're going to almost act like you've been punched in the stomach and really lean all the way back, slowly reaching your hands out, moving as slowly as you can right at the end. If you feel some shaking, that's good. Your nervous system is turning on. And then coming all the way back down onto your back. We're going to keep our knees bent here, feet on the floor. Make sure that you find a good spot where you can feel your entire lower back, your sacrum is really pressing into the mat. Shoulders are pressing into the mat. We're going to lift our feet up. We're going to cross right leg over left leg. You can cross once, or if you can scoot that foot under, cross twice, just like you're coming into eagle legs. From here, we really want to press our lower back into the mat. So don't let that lower back come up. You really want to press it down, lifting the hips just slightly. We're going to cross our hands on our leg. And this may look like it's doing nothing, but I swear it is turning your core on. So you're going to push into your legs and resist with your legs. So push them into each other as much as you can. You start to feel some shaking right away. We're going to take 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3. Keep that lower back down. 4. Push a little bit harder. 5. And release. We're going to let our feet come back down onto the floor. You can windshield wiper them back and forth before we repeat on the other side. So just let those knees gently come from one side to the other. Repeating on the other side, crossing one leg over the other once, and then twice if you can, scooting that foot underneath, crossing your hands on your legs, pushing down through your lower back, making sure it's connected to the mat, and then resist for 5 breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, long exhale. It may not look like this is doing much, but I promise you, this is a ton of work for your core. You're going to shake. You're going to feel your whole body really turning on. You might even feel a drip of sweat coming down your forehead. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, and release. Drop your feet to the mat. Windshield wiper your feet back, or your knees rather, back and forth. Giving yourself a release through your low back, through your hips. And then coming back to center, we're gonna reset to turn our core on a little bit more. So this time, we're gonna start with right knee into our chest, left leg is out, left toes are pointed. We're gonna lift ourselves just a little bit off the mat, shoulders off the mat, push that lower back down. So you can really see, once you push that lower back down, you lift your hips up, your whole body turns on. So push down, everything comes up just a little bit. We're gonna go for 20 of these. So right leg is in, and then we're gonna switch. Left leg in, hold it in, point through your right leg, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, make sure to breathe, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, we got 6 more, 2 more on each side, extend through those legs, 1 more, bring both legs in, give yourself a big hug, let your shoulders come down to the mat. We're gonna bring our arms out in a T here. We're gonna bring our knees up so they're right over our hips. Bring our feet up just like you're sitting in a chair. So you're trying to create a 90-degree angle here. Push low back down into the mat. And we're gonna let our hips drop over to one side. Bring them down just until they're about an inch off the floor. And then push through that low back, bring knees back up. Shift over to the other side. Push through your low back, come back up. Keeping shoulders rooted down to the mat. Upper body stays still. We're letting our core really do the work here, twisting our lower body. Let's do 1 more on each side. Final one. Bringing knees back into center. You can give yourself another little hug. And then heels straight up to the sky. This is going to be our last core pose, so give it all you've got. Low back is pushing down. Watch, you can see this happen. Push that low back down. Hips and legs come up. Keeping our feet flexed. Your hands can be out either in a T, or if you need a little bit of extra support under your low back, if you're feeling a bit of pain, you can take your hands and just shift them right under your sacrum here. This is going to help you out a little bit, give you a bit more support. Push that low back down, and we're going to lower slowly until our feet are just off the mat, and then bring them all the way back up. Again, slowly, just as slowly as you brought them down, you're going to lift them back up. Lower, feel that shaking, turn on, and lift. Lower, and lift. One more time, lower. This time when we're all the way there, let's hover, point your toes. We're gonna be like a ballerina. We're gonna go back and forth. And then one more time, relax. Bring those knees in. Give yourself a big hug. You can bring your knees or your feet out wide. Give yourself another windshield wiper, this time with really wide feet. Bring our feet back in. We're going to do one more pose before we relax today. So heels are going to be just out of reach of your fingertips. Basically, you want to have them directly under your knees. We're going to keep knees, feet, and hips all in one line, like it's 2 wheels just turning together. We're going to slide our shoulder blades underneath our back. Hands are beside your body. We're going to bend our elbows so our fingertips face towards the sky. And we're going to pulse here. So we're going to push through our feet, lift our hips up. You can scoot your shoulder blades a little bit further underneath your body, and then come down. Lift up, come down. And really trying to push through your feet here. Try to keep your glutes and your bum soft. So you're going to try not to engage that so much. We really want to push with our feet and lift our hips without engaging our glutes. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, up. And we're going to hold it here. You can bring your hands underneath your body, interlace them, scoot your shoulders a little bit further underneath your body. Really push through your hips. Make sure your knees are not flaring out. Tuck your chin. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Untuck your shoulders. And slowly we're going to come down one vertebrae at a time, tucking your tailbone at the end to come all the way back down. Let's hug our knees in one more time. Give yourself the best hug you've had today so far. And then release your legs. Let them come out. Let your toes come wide, your heels come wide. Hands come beside your body. We're going to let our breath return to normal. Let your heartbeat return to normal. It might still be pounding in your chest after some of that core work. You want to let your feet be heavy, your legs be heavy, your hands be heavy, your whole body be heavy, and hopefully your core is feeling a little bit stronger and your mind is feeling a little bit lighter. When you're only thinking about how much your core muscles are burning, it's easy to let everything else drift away. You can stay in this relaxation for as long as you'd like. And when you're ready to come out and finish your practice, you're going to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can interlace your fingers, stretch them forward, and then stretch them all the way up over your head. Bring your knees into your chest. Cross your ankles, and then slowly roll up to a seated position. When you reach a seat, come into a comfortable position, hands on your knees, spine is long, your chest is lifted, your chin is tucked. You can bring your hands to your heart. And this is a perfect time to say thank you to your core for surviving that workout. And inhale. And exhale, namaste. Thank you so much for doing your practice with me today. I had a really wonderful time turning on the core, building a little bit of heat. And don't forget, if you are looking for something a little bit gentler, check out the description box because there's lots of links to other sequences down there. And don't forget to subscribe because next month I'm going to be sharing some really wonderful yin yoga with you and some restorative yoga, which is hands down my favorite thing to do. You get to do yoga and sleep at the same time. So hit that subscribe button, and I can't wait to share the mat again with you very soon.